There's just too little love, but the world needs now.
Good morning, Morgan County. Woohoo! It's time for our Positive Podcast. From the Morgan County Partnership, I'm Mrs. Hott, Positive Actions and Digital Media Facilitator. Today's Positive Podcast is called Positive Actions for Emotional Wellness. 7 tips to teach what the world needs now. What is it?
Love.
Teach love. Right.
Hi, hola, es hora de acción positiva. Hi community, I am Mrs. Sheima, Morgan County Partnership Positive Actions and Digital Media Facilitator. Today's Positive Podcast is called in Spanish, Acciones Positivas para Bienestar Emocional. 7 consejos para enseñar lo que el mundo necesita es amor.
Amor.
I was trying to do like the song in English.
That was awesome, Sheima. Well, we have a little bit of a clip from Broadway, and some Broadway singers singing what the world needs now is love. And we are winding down this school year, aren't we, Miss Sheima?
Yeah.
And so today, our Morgan County Partnership joins you neighbors for another look at exciting positive programs, news and features that help build empathy, that foster core values like love. That's the basic value. It's my favorite one. And also family health and wellness in our homes, community, and around the world too.
Yes, and whether you are 2 or 92, each new Partnership Positive Podcast will feature fun and exciting information to help you manage and balance life here in Morgan County to West Virginia and beyond.
Right. We're ready this week, Miss Sheima. We're going to discover our new positive core value word. This is the word definitely. It is that footer for a house. It's a foundation for building a network of neighbors coming together for our community, helping each other get through another day, and letting you guys know about resources that are available to us to meet our basic needs. So with this week's word definitely meets the basic needs, right? Are you ready, Miss Sheima? Let's get started. All right. Today, our Positive Podcast is Positive Actions for Emotional Wellness. 7 tips to teach what the world needs now. That core value, love. Oh, just a little bit of love is all it takes, right, Sheima? And we need it in this world for sure. Neighbors, we thank you for listening, watching on our YouTube channel or on SoundCloud. You can find us on the Morgan County Partnership app. Today, Miss Sheima and I will be chatting about emotional wellness and talking about this core value, love. And in Spanish, like Sheima said, amor. Right?
Yeah.
All right. For all ages, we chat about positive core actions, positive values today, things that are needed in our community today, right now, so that we develop a better neighborhood for our children tomorrow, right? Miss Sheima, can you tell us a little bit about this big question? What is love, and how can you say it in Spanish too? And what's it mean?
Sure, love in Spanish is amor and means a feeling of deep affection for others, unlimited and conditional, and without a restriction that includes everybody.
Exactly. 7 tips to teach what the world needs now is love. And Sheima, I liked how you said it's unlimited, right? I mean, it's boundless. There's no end to this core value. It doesn't stop. It's unconditional, right? I like that because no matter what anyone does, no matter, where someone is in their life, maybe they've done a really awful thing, there's still always this value of love, right? And it's without restrictions. Love includes everyone. We don't stop at a neighborhood. We don't stop at the West Virginia line. We don't stop at the border. Love includes everybody on the other side of the United States, right? Love includes everyone, black, brown, everyone. And that's what I feel is so valuable for us today. The world needs it, right?
And animals too.
That's right. And animals too, right?
Yeah.
Caring for animals. And also our environment. That's a big deal too. Being loving what we've got here on earth and taking care of that, right? Taking care of that too. And sometimes we also need to focus on, we sometimes beat ourselves up a little bit thinking, oh, I didn't do this, but ourselves, we need to give ourselves some self-help, some self-love too. And I know it's been a rough year,
Yeah.
but I think if we look back, something that got us through is the love that we had when we were isolated, and right here we had time with our families and being together. But that's really what gets us through. And I think with the issues in the world right now, with conflict all around us, if we can come back to, hey, let's just love everybody, because everybody, that's the one thing we all have in common. We all look different. We come from different places. We're all different colors. That's what's different. But the one thing alike, everybody's looking for love and to be accepted. So I want to share something with you guys. This is from allprodads.com. You see that? That's from dads.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Allprodads.com. This week, this is where our content resource comes from. Miss Sheima, you ready? Let's take a look at this article, okay, from allprodads.com. It's called 7 Ways to Teach Our Kids to Love Each Other. And this struck me. I was reading through a whole bunch of stuff last week, guys. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool because we have been isolated. A lot of kids have been home and we're just starting to get back out. But if we can teach our kids to love their siblings, and then those will be skills. Those are skills, right? That they can then take and to love other people, because siblings are all different. And like we said, people around the world are all different too. We want to love everyone. So let's hear what it says. This article from allprodads.com starts off like this. He says, a friend of mine is the mother of 2 sweet kids, a 9-year-old boy and an 8-year-old girl. And I thought of that too, because Isaac and Levi are 16 and 17. Yeah. So I'm like, what are they going to say? Several years ago, she was driving with the kids in the back seat when all of a sudden she heard her daughter whisper to her son, I want to punch you right in the face. No.
Why?
Punch you right in the face. I thought, ooh, we parents, we pick up on that kind of stuff, don't we? And let's pause for a second, because, Sheima and I were on digital media for the partnership, really talking about positive core values. And I feel like I see words like that from other adults that the words are ugly. That's an ugly thing to hear. I'm going to punch you in the face, right? But that kind of stuff, words that are not loving, they're out there. And if we're not hearing them, we're seeing them. And that puts us in a mood, So let's see what happens next in this blog from allprodads.com. So in the back of the car, the kid says, I'm going to punch you in the face. And this is about sibling rivalry. Sibling rivalry is real. Teaching your children to love their brothers and sisters is important to having well-rounded children and a happy home. Looking for ways to cultivate this love can be hard, but it's possible. And it felt hard over the pandemic sometimes, I guess, where everybody was stuck inside. It's like, and aren't we glad now they're more vaccinated? We're getting closer to herd immunity where we can go out more. So that'll really be helpful. But you know what? Teaching your siblings to love each other it's possible, because if we can do that successfully, then when they go back to the classroom and they're back on their teams, they're going to love their classmates and teammates and neighbors and families. All right. You have a big influence, moms and dads, grandparents, caretakers. Here are 7 ways to help your children love each other. What's number 1, Sheima?
Set an example.
Right, there we go. Set an example. And neighbors, we've been talking about that on every core value with patience and courtesy and all of that. It's up to us to set that example, isn't it? It gets hard sometimes, but when they see us doing it, that's going to be a way that they'll try to replicate what we're doing, right? Yeah. So if we're using angry, hateful words like, I'm going to punch you, that's what the kids are going to do when they get out to school and do, That's just what they know. So if we set an example when they get to school, we can help make the community and the environment in the classroom better if that's what we're doing as caretakers.
Yeah. The other day,
All,
sorry. The other day, I saw something in one of the pages about conscious discipline. They say your kid it's not always listening to you, but they are always watching you. So they're seeing what we're doing, they are listening what we're doing, but if we tell them you have to do this, but we are not the example, maybe they're not going to do that. But if we're there and we're doing the right thing, they're going to see that.
I get you. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They pick up on what we do more so than what we say, right? Yeah. AllProDads.com says children pay attention. That's just like Miss Sheima said. They're paying attention. If you love others, they will follow your example. Demonstrating negative behaviors such as fighting or name calling will be replicated by your little ones. But don't place the blame on yourself for your children's quarrels. Your example is important, but it's not all that they are influenced by. So, it doesn't all come. It could be from other children that are seeing those examples.
School, cartoons.
You know what? I remember, I think I was 49 when we started to do Run for God. We were training for a marathon, or we're training for a 5K.
I remember.
And I happened to be at the track at Widmeyer when out came a whole bunch of students. And I think this was before we actually had Positive Actions there. But they're like, oh, let's go around the track. So we were going around the track. And this little fella, he turned around and I know the little fella too, but he used an inappropriate word. I heard it. And about 6 little ones in front of me, oh, did you hear what he called her? I'm like, well, yes, I did. And so I went up and I said, hey, what do you think your mom will think when she hears you said that word? And he went, oh, you know what I mean? Because he didn't think about that, because I guess it's the word he didn't hear from her, but he heard it someplace else. Yeah, I know. So yeah, our kids are out there. They're gonna try it out what they hear. Who's in middle school now?
And that reminds me, one of our words in Positive Action is I forget the word, integrity. You have to do things even when no one is watching, because if your mom is there, you're gonna say the word. So do it even if your mom is not there. Don't say it.
Do the right thing. All right, what's the next tip, Miss Sheima?
The second tip is love them equally.
Yeah, that's beautiful too. We're talking about equality a lot lately too, right? Our siblings, love them equally, your kids. Like number 1, demonstrating love to your children is a way to teach them to love also. Showing them love equally will keep them from feeling jealous, which gives them the ability to love freely. If they feel loved, they will show love to others. So, I have 4. I love all my 4. I could just pour over all 4 of them. And I mean, Katie's old, she's 31, but I still love her like a baby. You know what I mean? But love them all equally. And I can't imagine loving one more than the other. And I guess be warned, because we have to love our kids equally, because we have to love everyone equally. It's inclusion, right, Sheima?
Yeah.
That's number 3.
Number 3, teach them patience.
Last week's value word. What was it last week? The week
was last week, yeah.
Yeah, patience. Paciencia. Paciencia. Patience is a virtue. And we really have to teach patience, don't we? Patience is a virtue. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's harder. It's really hard for me. Patience, it's not easy to come by, but requires self-control and understanding. Especially for older siblings, patience can wear thin and frustration can take over. By teaching patience, children will have a greater understanding and tolerance for their annoying sibling.
Annoying.
That's kind of funny, right? Yeah, I know. I was an annoying sibling too. I had 2 older brothers, And when they were 5 and 7 years older than me, so when I got to go to school, they didn't want to sit with me on the bus at all. I was the annoying sister. So I cried all the time too. So they'd like sit me on the front seat and they'd go in the back and they'd be like, "Oh, your sister's crying." And they're like, "We don't have a sister."
Oh,
You know,
I want to
I was
hug you. I want to hug this little Angie.
I was
Oh.
the annoying sister, right? But yeah, teach them to love everyone, and that's gonna. I like how this struck me. It'll have Siblings will have a greater understanding and tolerance for other siblings, and I feel like if they can do it in their family, they'll have a outside their family, they'll have more tolerance too. And the world needs that, right? The world needs love. The world needs more tolerance.
Yeah. Number 4, it's cultivate playtime.
Hey, I got to go to Sheima's house over the weekend. There's some serious playtime going on over there, neighbors. Miss Ithaca was celebrating turning 3. Yeah, it was so much fun. Lots of games. Why is that so important? Dads.com says playing together is the perfect way to cultivate loving relationships. Isn't that cool? Play is how children learn social skills. When they have fun together, they're learning about each other and how to relate. Of course, siblings playing leaves the potential for nearly disastrous moments too, like in the back of a van. But those are when you as a parent can step in and mediate a situation. And I kind of like this, Shema, because not every day is going to be perfect, and there's going to be disasters, and we need those.
We need
to
those
help.
for yeah. They
Exactly.
learn from that. Yeah. Definitely. When we play with Ithaca, sometimes like we're playing the matching cards, like the memory matching cards. And sometimes I found a matching card and she's like, I want to take that. I was like, well, mommy found it. So it's mommy's card. So she gets frustrated because she's like, I want the card too. So we have to learn from that situation that it's everybody's turn. So she needs to wait for her turn. And sometimes it's hard, but she's learning. So we're learning together to do that. Yeah. Learning patience and learning to share. Yeah. Playtime, it's definitely.
And playtime too. Like, what would happen if every time Shema said, I want that card, mommy, and you said, all right, here you go.
Yeah. And the real world, it's not like this. So it's
right. Yeah.
Now then.
And when she gets to school, when she's a kindergartner, she'd be like, nah, you just don't get that just because you said you wanted it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like this sentence that says, play, it's the work of the kid.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. What's tip number 5?
Number 5, teach them to share.
Yeah.
Playtime.
You knew that was coming. You led right into that, didn't you, Shema? Yep. Shema was talking about sharing and playtime. Alldads.com says this: sharing toys, activities, or friends is another great way to teach them to love one another. Once they're in something together, spending time creating memories and becoming involved with others, they will learn to love and appreciate each other. They will learn to act as a team. You know what? And that's why this core value is so important. That's where they'll learn to act as a team, to be a part of a community, that whole network. And that's why this is so critical. The world needs it so much right now. If we can encourage and cultivate this in our own homes, when our kids grow up and take adult roles, they're going to be better team players, aren't they? Levi's working on a video over at school. He goes to BISFA, and they get assignments where they work as a team, and they have to do different roles. They're editors or filmers or actors, or and I'm like, I love that opportunity, because that's how the world works. And I mean, sure, maybe a lot of people now are working internally or at home, but you still have teamwork involved. Like, look at us, Shema. We haven't been able to get together in the same studio until recently with our lesson, because of vaccinations, and we both are past our safe time. But even if you're apart, you still have to work as a team, and that's what community is all about. People who are part of a team with love. It's a virtue. I mean, it's almost it's sort of like, I don't know, it's needed as much as oxygen, I think, in a way. All right, number
Number
6 tip.
6, it's create bonding experiences.
Bonding experiences. AllDads.com says teach them to depend on one another. Give them chores to do together. Bonding activities will help them to rely on each other. This dependence is a sign of love. It makes them realize they're not alone and they need each other. Neighbors, we need each other, don't we?
Definitely.
And there's so much, how do they say it, polarization going on with politics and stuff. And we that needs to stop. We need to come together and love. And a simple thing is like Isaac and Levi, they're responsible for the every evening for the kitchen, they dishes and they flip, wash and dry and stuff like that. But that time they're getting a work done, they're doing their responsibility, but they're also bonding. And I hear them talking about the 10th grade English teacher Isaac had 2 years ago. And Levi's like, hey, what'd you think of reading the book To Kill a Mockingbird? And that they're gonna, and I also think too, gosh, in just a few months, Isaac's gonna be gone and it'll be Levi. But this time now he's gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss seeing that, but that's what it's teaching them is that we need each other, not just in a family, but as a community. We need that polarization to go away and to stop with all of the, my politics is right, my religion's right. I heard someone say that, only Christians are going to heaven. And I'm like, oh, I don't think so. I mean, really?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But that's too much polarization. We need to come together and we need everybody. We can't exclude anyone if they're not in our family, not in our faith, not in our race or religion. Well, I heard something neat, Sheima. I went to this, I was telling Dan about it. I went to this workshop that Luke Christie from State Farm, shout out to Luke, State Farm. It was an international Rotary session on Friday about race diversity and inclusion. And the fellow was in Germany. There were 2,000 people on this Zoom. And he said that in Rotary, we don't say there's any race. We're all one. We're all human. We're all one. We're just different colors. And we all are looking for the same thing. We're all looking for love and inclusion and acceptance. And so I think if we as parents look at this as our homes, as the starting ground, we get them to work together and we need each other. And then when they're out and about, you see that we need everybody,
Yeah.
We can't polarize it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Another sentence that I read in some place that was like, it's more things that unite us than divide us. Yeah. Just being a human,
we're human.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're all people
living in the same world, in the same planet. I think Ivy Shaw, she said that it's more things. I think she said that in another podcast. She said that. Yeah,
I think you're right.
Yeah, she said that. Yeah. And
what's our final
one is teach them selfness. How do you say that?
Selflessness. Yeah, teach them selflessness.
That's a hard word for me.
Selflessness. That's a mouthful, right?
Yeah.
All right. AllDads.com says children have a concept that their things are truly their things, whether it's toys, friends, or space. But teaching them that their stuff is less important than people is teaching them love. The stuff is less important than people. That's teaching them love. Instruct children to put others first in all things. Put people first above your things. It's about those relationships, right? Doing favors, helping with their siblings' chores, or spending time together are all good examples of selflessness. Exemplify these traits and continue to enhance them in your home. Right, neighbors? Doing things together, doing chores, and spending time together. It's the people that are important, and that's why love is what the world needs. It's not. I think a lot we're so like focused on the media and who's going to like our picture, and it's, and like we talked about integrity. Put out there, put on your media who you really are. Don't try to be who you're not, and it's not about your stuff at all. It's about those connections and people. That's why like last summer really like Positive Values Network because it brings us together with all of those. And next week, neighbors, we're going to be putting all of our value words for emotional wellness to the golden rule. We're going to review all of that. And then finally, at the end of the school year, we talk about community, and that community is a network. And the footer, we got to put love, we got to pour some love on our footers so that we build a stronger community here for our kids, so they know that they can be inclusive, and it's not about your stuff or your stuff. It's about, loving everybody. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Sheima, that's all I have from alldads.com.
Thank you, Mrs. Hott.
I hope the neighbors come back next week where we're going to talk about the golden rule. I'm sure hoping we pull up that old video from the intermediate school. It's pretty cute. And then we're going to finish with community.
Yeah. Wow. A whole year now. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Time's flight.
All right. You ready to wrap up, Miss Sheima?
Yes, Mrs. Hott.
Okay.
Well, thank you, neighbors, for joining us, and thank you for listening to the Positive Podcast. And remember, from 2 to 92, young and old, it's been fun podcasting with you today. We hope you find some positive actions out in the world this week. Bye.
Remember, neighbors, parents, teachers, caretakers, grandparents, kids, you're not alone. You're not alone. We are one community. You each are unique. You are important, and you are wonderfully made. Thanks for joining us on Positive Actions for Emotional Wellness. And we hope you enjoyed allprodads.com 7 tips to teach what the world needs now is love, right? All right. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Love, sweet love, no, not just for some, but for everyone.
Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb.
There are oceans and rivers
Enough to cross, enough to last
till the end of time.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
No, not just for some, but for everyone.
Lord, we don't need another meadow.
There are cornfields and wheat fields enough to grow.
There are sunbeams and moonbeams enough to shine.
Oh, listen, Lord,
If you wanna know,
if you wanna know.
what the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
No, not just for some.
But for